All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a really powerful framework for getting your strategic plans out of those dense documents and turning them into something you can actually see, something clear, visual, and way, way more effective. So I want you to think for a second about your own strategic plan right now. Is it actually useful? Is it this living, breathing guide that your whole team gets and uses every day? Is it a real roadmap showing you where to go? Or, let's be real for a minute, is it one of those documents that took ages to create, got a big presentation, and then just disappeared into a folder somewhere, gathering digital dust? You know, it happens all the time, but it kind of makes you wonder, what was the point of all that planning? So today we're going to unpack a different approach. We're going to learn how to visualize your strategy, making the whole thing feel intuitive, totally logical, and just much, much easier to put into action. Look, it doesn't matter if you're a business, a nonprofit, whatever. You need a strategy. But man, that whole process can get messy, right? It often turns into this jumble of goals and projects that don't always seem to connect. But what if the solution was actually super simple? What if it came from a metaphor we all understand? That's exactly what we're going to get into. We're talking about something called the strategy tree. And the idea is it's just great. It's so simple. Imagine your plan as a tree. Your big ultimate goal, that's the roots, the foundation holding everything up. Your main strategy is the trunk. The big, thick branches, those are your critical objectives. And all the little twigs and leaves, those are the individual projects and actions that make it all happen. It gives you this amazing mental picture you can work with. Okay, so let's see how you actually build one of these, starting right from the ground up. Because the real magic of the strategy tree is how everything flows together in this really logical, cascading way. Okay, check this out. It all connects. So down at the roots, we have our goal, increase growth and profit. Simple enough. Now, for that to happen, one of the main branches, a critical success factor, is revenue. Okay, makes sense. But how do we get revenue? Well, a sub-branch, a necessary condition, is having a solid sales funnel. And to make that funnel work, we need lead generation. That's a twig or a key success factor. And finally, all of that leads us to a single leaf, a project, design an attractive website. See that? There's a perfect logical line from that one small project all the way back to the main goal. It all fits. All right, so you're probably thinking, how far do I take this? Do I map out every single tiny task? And the answer is a big, clear no. This is where we need to draw a really important line in the sand between strategy and tactics. And this D-Day analogy is just perfect for explaining it. Your strategy tree, that's the high-level plan. That's deciding which beach to invade. It's about getting the troops, the ships, the big picture stuff sorted. That's strategy. Tactics, on the other hand, that's what happens on the ground once the bullets start flying. That's the sergeant deciding which soldiers go first. Both are absolutely critical, but you manage them in totally different ways. So back to our tree. The project, the leaf, is design an attractive website. That belongs on the tree. But the day-to-day tasks, draft the homepage copy, pick a font, code the navigation menu, those are tactical. They change, they're fluid. And that's what tools like Kanban boards or an agile sprint are for. They're built for that fast-paced, on-the-ground work. Okay, awesome. You've got your tree, it's logical, it's beautiful, the plan is crystal clear. Now for the hard part, right? How do you actually make this thing grow? How do you execute this plan brilliantly? First up, you've got to embrace the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of it, Pareto's principle. It basically says that a huge chunk of your results, like 80%, comes from a tiny slice of your efforts, maybe 20%. Your job, when you're executing this plan, is to be obsessed with finding that vital 20%. So for our website example, getting a simple, functional site online is probably in that 20%. Spending 3 weeks arguing over the perfect shade of blue for the footer, that's definitely in the other 80%. Next, we have to talk about the theory of constraints. And the best way to think about this is an hourglass. You can have a mountain of sand in the top, but it can only fall as fast as that tiny little neck in the middle will allow. That narrow point, that's your constraint. And here's the kicker. Every single strategic plan has one. There's always one primary bottleneck that's slowing everything else down. And this is so, so important. Until you relax that constraint, until you widen that bottleneck, nothing else matters. Any work you do on any other part of the system is basically wasted effort. Think about it. If your bottleneck is that you don't even have a defined product, spending a ton of money on a fancy sales funnel is completely pointless. You have nothing to pour into it. So all your focus has to go to fixing that one thing. Once you do, a new bottleneck will show up somewhere else, and that becomes your new focus. It's a cycle. So let's wrap this all up. What you've got to see is that the strategy tree isn't some static chart you make once. It's a living, breathing blueprint that helps you get where you're going with incredible focus and clarity. So here are the big things to remember. 1. Visualize. Turn that messy plan into a simple tree everyone gets. 2. Hierarchy. Make sure every little leaf logically connects all the way down to the roots, to your main goal. 3. Focus. Know the difference between the strategy in the tree and the day-to-day tactics you manage elsewhere. And finally, number 4, execute like a pro. Use the 80-20 rule and the theory of constraints to pour your energy into what really matters. And that really leaves us with one final powerful thought for you to take away. If you remember nothing else from this, remember this question. Go back to your team, look at your plan, and ask this. What is our single biggest constraint right now? What is the one neck of the hourglass that is holding everything else back? Because honestly, finding that and fixing it, that is the most important thing you can do.